Welcome back, and for today's Real Estate Today, we're joined by Jeremy Orton and Ron Jones. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Here.
We appreciate it. So today we're talking about some key factors that a first-time investor should consider when selecting a rental property within a specific budget, maybe like $250,000.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of things to consider. First of all, like the location is going to be a very big factor because $250,000 doesn't apply to all locations. And then what rent income you're going to get off of that property is super important to consider.
Right, and I would probably emphasize the need for making sure you do your thorough market research and some realistic budgeting, you know, because you're going to need repairs and updates.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then like a real important thing is like what your long-term finance plan is for this rental property, because interest rates and the type of loan you have really impact your profitability on these.
Definitely some things to consider before maybe making that decision. Yeah. So do you have any like success stories of a first-time investor who maybe made a good decision in the rental property market?
Yeah, if you've heard of house hacking, that's where you buy a multifamily. It's like a duplex or triplex, buy it as a primary residence, live in one side and rent out the other side. And I have a friend who did that a couple of years ago. Worked out really well because he offset most of his mortgage payment by the rents from the other unit.
Gotcha.
So I think he only ended up paying like $300 or $400 a month out of his own pocket to live in that other side of his duplex.
Wow, that's great.
And I actually just put a young investor, I'd say he's in about his mid-20s. We just closed last week. We took our time, looked at about 6 or 7 different properties, but through patience and proper negotiating tactics, by the time he took ownership of this single-family residence, he was up about $44,000 in equity. So that's a great way to start off.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So just you know, there's a lot of aspects, but the biggest thing is just to get started in it. So. Right,
absolutely. So what are some common mistakes that new investors make in the rental property market, and maybe how can we avoid them?
Yeah, so you know, back to the rental income and that location. So that's so key, because if you're not conscientious of that, you can put yourself in a bad financial situation.
Right.
So just being respectful of the numbers of the deal is probably one of the biggest things.
Gotcha.
And I would be mindful to underestimate your costs just a little bit. Things like repairs and vacancies can have a play, and then be careful with overestimating your returns. You don't want to do that either.
Yeah, yeah. And then biggest mistake I see is people just don't do anything. So like people are always saying, I'm going to wait until the market changes. I'm going to wait until interest rates change. There's timing and planning for things, but ultimately something.
Okay, great. Well, those are all great pros and cons there, and some definite things to think about if you're interested. And so here are this week's stats from the Jeremy Orton Real Estate Group, and thanks for being here.
You bet.
Thank you.